Hello and welcome to the Davis Jackson vlog. Today I will be showing you how to make a cheap college meal. Today we'll be making one of my favorites, steak and broccoli. The ingredients for this meal are broccoli, garlic, olive oil, salt, pepper, butter, and steak. We'll be cooking this on the stove and in the oven. The first step to making this delicious meal is cutting the broccoli. I like to start by cutting off the stem and then breaking the broccoli up into smaller biteable pieces. If you can't do it without cutting it again, that's fine. Next, we will douse the broccoli in olive oil and toss it so that it gets a nice even coat over the entirety of the broccoli. You don't want to leave any part without oil, otherwise it might start to burn in the oven. Next, we are going to sprinkle some salt and pepper onto this broccoli. If you're feeling a little bit more festive, you might want to sprinkle some lemon zest or lemon squeeze on top of this broccoli to give it an extra kick. For both the broccoli and the steak, we're going to be needing garlic, so I'll show you that next. First, start off by peeling the garlic to get the smaller cloves on the inside. The cloves will then have more skin that you have to peel, and you can do that by crushing it with the blade of your knife, and then peeling the excess skin off to give you the good, tasty part of the garlic. For the broccoli, we're going to need diced garlic, which is really just a fancy way of saying tiny cubes. So I'm going to separate the right and left garlic, the left being for steak and the right being for broccoli. Now, to start dicing, we just do about 9 or 10 vertical cuts, close enough to each other, but not too far away. And then you're going to take it all and flip it 90 degrees so that you can cut more lines at a perpendicular angle to the earlier cuts so that you can have small squares. We are then going to take the diced garlic and sprinkle it on top of the broccoli, and then toss it one final time to get a nice even coat of oil, garlic, salt, and pepper on the broccoli. We're then going to insert the broccoli into the oven at 425 degrees for 22 minutes. It's always important to preheat your oven before you start cooking. Now, moving on to the steak, we will start by tenderizing the steak, which is another way of just saying beating it up. You can use your fists or a meat smasher if you have one. I'm now cutting the meat into 3 separate steaks so that we can use this one purchase to last us for 3 separate meals. For our marinade, we're going to take olive oil and sort of massage it into the steak. This gives a nice release of flavor and prevent your steak from burning on the pan. For seasonings, we're going to stay pretty basic with salt and pepper. It's always important to pour the salt into your hand before you pour it onto the steak so that you can avoid pouring way too much on and ruining the meal. If you're feeling a little bit extra, you might want to throw some oregano or maybe Cajun spices onto the steak to spice it up a bit. To cook the steak, we're going to take about 2 tablespoons of butter and throw it on the pan at medium heat with the garlic. You will know it's ready to put the steak on when the garlic and the butter start sizzling and you can see a little bit of smoke rising from it. You're going to keep it on about 4 minutes per side, flipping once you start to see the steak or the brown come through the pink of this thin cut steak. The way I can tell when it's done is by putting your ring finger touching your thumb and then touching the meat of your thumb, and if the steak feels the same as the meat of your thumb, then you know it's at least medium rare, which is what I like to have. Next, you're going to take your steak off and put it to the side to rest. As you can hear in the background, I timed my cooking well so that when the steak was coming off, I could then take the broccoli off and eat them together. I did this by waiting till about 9 minutes left on the broccoli to start my steak. I like to do this so that you can get both meals, or both parts of the meal, hot when you're ready to serve it. Thank you for watching, as today we showed you how to make a cheap 3-meal steak for only $9 in your dorm kitchen.